seriously, to begin with, much better last week. In hindsight, in review, do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, much better in the effort side of the game. Thought we probably had Wigan rocking at one point where they fell into what we've been doing, one outs and stuff. They were sort of going, and I think it was they kicked it down. Moy beat a couple of people, offloaded, and when Carlos carried the ball, someone punched the ball out, and that just took the wind out of us. Then really lost that battle. We were winning that little bit there of field position. We did look again. We looked a little bit out of sorts at times, with the different people playing different positions. But again, we lost people again, both back rowers in the first 30 minutes or so. Not helpful at all. But yeah, we got on with it. We dug our heels in, and I thought they did a pretty good job. And again, on the effort stuff, it would be nice, obviously, to come in with the points. But I thought Wigan were just probably a bit too big, a bit too strong, and looked after that ball and played the game at the right end of the field. So no complaints on result, but yeah, definitely happy with what we put out.
Did you feel then maybe the words that you'd heard matched the output on the field this week then?
Yeah, I think so. Not perfectly, but for the most part, yes, which is obviously a big uplift on the week before. The challenge from now is can you back it up?
And that brings me on to the next point. What would you be happy with this week? An incremental improvement or just reaching that same level at this point in time?
Well, I think they've probably set the bar, if you like. I'd like it to get better than that moving forward. And at home against Castleford, there's 2 points up for offer, as there is every week. We're looking to win. We want to win these games, and yeah. So for us, it's can you get that effort right, but it's the smartness around some other little bits and bobs as well, which will go a long way towards that.
Do you believe that smartness is within your players, or is that something that they still need to keep working and learning about?
Well, with a number of young people in there, you'd say learning. The smartness is within there, even with the young lads, but I think with experience comes consistency, really. And we've not had that. Unfortunately, some of the key positions on the field, we've not been able to have any consistency in, which really doesn't help. And then the combinations within different edge people, playing with different edge people, and all those things, they're all contributors. But as I say, I keep going back to that where there's no excuse on the talentless stuff, though. It doesn't matter what the combos are, the defence, the energy we have about protecting our try line and looking after each other. It shouldn't change, irrespective of who's on the field, and that still remains a focus. But I do think if we can get on the same page more often with the ball, we give ourselves a chance. We didn't do it enough last week against Wigan, but again, we've got another week under our belt, so hopefully we can improve.
You talked last week about how the players have spoken about accountability and almost laid into each other a little bit in the week building up to the match. What about this week? Has it been more on-field focused than words, potentially?
Well, I think videos are very different, aren't they? After you've had a shocker and you have to have them chats, which we had, when the focus after the Wigan game wasn't so much about our effort being wrong or whatever. It was more around just showing a few bits, the bits they'd highlighted, and how we did them okay and we could have done them better. But again, you feel a little bit better after a better performance. So the week's been, I'd say, a little bit more upbeat. Missing a couple of those voices like Ed Chamberlain and Jed have spoke really well in the last couple of weeks, and they didn't train today, and I think we probably missed them a little bit. Just highlighted the fact that everyone's got to step up and take a bit of that. Being brave enough, the moral courage, to pull each other, talk about what we're doing, and be honest with it. We've got a bit, but I think we've got another session to get through yet, and hopefully it goes up a notch into that one.
Are the younger players happy to come out and say things that you might hear from senior players?
No. They're happy to call out their own mistakes, certainly. I think a little bit more courage required and maybe a little bit more experience. I've been there when you're a kid. Generally, you start off pretty quiet unless you get a really cheeky chappy who don't mind throwing his opinion out there. They're not too they don't come around too often, but yeah, generally you're happy to sort of earn your stripes really before, and you have to feel you've got to a certain level, I suppose. But part of their development is getting past that, because if it's better for the team, you probably need to say.
So Castleford, how important this week is it? Let's start off with your home advantage. How much difference will that make for you?
I wish I could say it makes it a massive advantage. But we've won a couple of times at home, haven't we? So getting back with the crowd behind us, as we had them in the last couple of games, we played pretty well at home in. It can certainly be of benefit, and we want to enjoy the last part of the season. And we went on, I think, did we go for 5 or 6 weeks on the road at some point in amongst where the pitch got sorted and whatnot. So that allows you this opportunity at the end of the year to get some games at home, and obviously we want to make them people proud of us every time we go out there, and we'll have a few opportunities to do that between now and the end.
How big would it be for you to pick up those 2 points this weekend? Obviously, in context, how big would it be?
Oh, it'd make everyone feel 100% better, I suppose. Yeah, I've said it time and time again throughout the year. Performing well is obviously what we're after. But you win ugly, wouldn't you? You take anything to get 2 points on the board, and there's 2 points up for grabs. Can we get them? Yeah, I do think it's achievable. I think last week against Wigan, with the adversity of the first half, it was a big ask for us to get anything out of that game. But Cass are doing it tough as we are, injury wise. They're not too far away from us in the table. There might not be that much between us this week, and again, if we can do our bit and do it well and improve on some bits, we'll give ourselves a chance, because the 2 points are what you walk out smiling with, irrespective of how pretty it looks.
Because it will be a very different challenge, with due respect to Castleford. They're not Wigan, are they?
No, they're a good team, very good team. The important bit, I think, for Cass is they've managed to keep most of their spine intact throughout the year. I think Liam Horn's been a real find for them the last 18 months or so. Westerman's obviously a quality player, and Miller really does know his job. He's been around a long time. Tex has obviously gone there, who's finding some form, which is great for him. I think they've got some experience in that important rudder, if you like, through the middle, which has helped them out. But it's not beyond us this week. I think we can match them physically, and we have got some quality in our team still too.
And we were chatting before you came into the room about how the pack at the moment, your pack, seems to be settling a little bit. Maybe not this week.
Yeah, we say that and then we lose someone, don't we? There'll be a couple of changes in there, obviously forced with Jed. A couple of bits and bobs to pick up on, but it is what it is. There's no point in moaning about it. It doesn't help us. I'm sure a lot of the things I say will be viewed as excuses anyway, when I'm just trying to provide context most of the time. But we won't be. No one else is bothered. We're not bothered. We just want the 17 that go out to go and play their game well.
You've got bodies back though this week. A couple from suspension and a couple that were ruled out last week because they were Wigan players. Yeah,
so Tiaki, Sam, obviously they come back into to contention, and Denis and Liggy, they make their way back into the squad, and then obviously we've got Danny Houghton in the background plugging away, boxes to tick. We'll see how he goes at the end of the week, whether it could be too soon this week, but we'll see. He's certainly chomping at the bit. He's only got a few games left of this season, and we want him to finish this one in good fashion.
Bring us up to date with a couple of the injuries as well. You've mentioned about Ed Chamberlain. I think you said it could be an injury that's managed going forward. So where are you with him?
Yeah, we're not 100% clear on what is wrong at the moment. Collarbone sort of injury, or AC joint, which is a tricky one, sore one. You can play with them. It just depends on the severity of it, which we're trying to get to the bottom of at the moment. He's pretty sore today. I'd say very unlikely to play this week.
And what progress have you got with Jack Walker?
Walker's ticked the boxes this week. He's had to do some wrestling and whatnot, obviously test out that bicep injury he's got, and he's come through quite comfortable. But now the decision is around the table with the coaches around where does he come back in, or does he come back in. I felt Moy did a good job again, so it just gives you that little gives you that discussion to have, which is good to have. Too many times this year we've pretty much slid the names across, and it's picked itself, so it's a good one to have. But I think Moy did have a good game, so depending on how everyone else pulls up, it'd be difficult to move him. And
I read this week as well that Vitaly Fulic-Kapani were coming back into the reserves. How far off is he?
You've done well. You've done well with that. Just call him Mitch. He got through the game, which is the important piece for his own headspace. And obviously, and to my knowledge, he's not pulled up with any adverse effects. But 18 months out is a long time out. So I dare say we'd be very, very ambitious to expect to see Mitch playing first grade this year. But I'm really happy for him. I've done that long stint. It's a tough one, but to get yourself out there and get through one's it's a nice milestone to reach.
And you mentioned Danny Houghton could be a milestone this weekend, and his retirement at the end of the season confirmed. What has it been like having a player like that around your squad?
Good. Frustrating year, I think, for Danny. Obviously, he's give it everything, and from the games he's played, he might be a little bit slower than he once was, but his effort and commitment to his teammates, his club, could never be questioned. And unfortunately, as you get older, your body starts letting you down a little bit, and he's picked up, a couple of calf injuries as we've gone along, rib injury earlier on in the season. So it's unfortunate he's probably not had the outstanding final season that he wanted to have, but he's had many very good ones and got loads of very good memories out of the game, and he's been a Hull FC mainstay and a bit of an icon. I mean, all our young kids here, they'll have grown up watching him, and they'll have all been in a bit of awe coming in this year and being around him. But they'll all tell you the same. Good bloke, very down to earth bloke. Likes to go about his business, no frills, get it done, and he'll be sadly missed within the playing group. But it's someone else's opportunity to step up, move on. But my hope would be that Mint's not too far away from the club. I'm sure he won't be. So he can pass on some of that knowledge and enthusiasm for Hull FC in some capacity. But that's for him to work out. I think it's just one step at a time. Let's get him fit. Let's get him out there. Keep him out there. And then we can celebrate his career when the time's right.
And it's been quite a career as well. Just looking back on it, without even the celebration side of it, there's certain aspects that immediately spring out when you think of Danny Houghton. Wembley, that tackle.
Yeah, he's had some moments. He's that old. I played against him many moons ago. He's been a great player for Hull for a long time, and he's managed to play big minutes. He's been the smallest man on the field. He's shown some real toughness, and he has been a great servant at club. We'll wish him well, but we want to enjoy the next few weeks with him.